Hey everybody. So I want to discuss a little bit more about this notion of something which has aided me immensely, and many others, many clients that I've had, people that I've just spoken with, and it seems to be I think, a permanent solution so far in dealing with things like anxiety, depression. Oh my gosh, so many different sorts of problems and concerns that we may have in our entire life. And this is, I guess you could say, unveiling the nature of Maya and Brahman and what this means within ourselves. So I'll get into this a little bit. This means unveiling and looking at the nature of the self, which by self I mean the nature of the individual, which lay beyond any kind of mental construct. So any kind of concept, construct, or conditioning which we may have of ourselves, which is the body and the mind, right? And within this, we can see that we exist within this really huge, almost boundless cosmos, right? It's enormous. But it is a finite expression of the infinite, right? So if we explore any kind of matter, material, we can see that it's finite. It changes, and this cosmos is matter. It's finite. And it rests within the infinite itself. And as human beings, we're part of this cosmos, right? We're an infinitesimal expression of a greater, immeasurable reality here. And this is a really helpful mindset and perspective to take on when dealing with things that we need to deal with in our life. So this infinite reality, we call it Brahman. It's not a deity. It's not any kind of dogmatic approach. Brahman just simply means the absolute formless, right? The undivided truth. What that is, that's a difficult thing, right? But in our everyday experience, we do encounter this world of form, of boundaries, of separateness, right? And this apparent world of distinction, duality, and limitation is what we call Maya. It's the cosmic illusion. So what is Maya here? So Maya is the cosmic power that enables the infinite to appear, to take form, and to manifest within the bounds of our perception. So it allows the infinite to appear to be the finite. It's described as this creative energy of Brahman. It's the unfolding potential that allows the finite allows the infinite to appear finite. It's the formless to manifest into form. So it's not separate from the ultimate reality. It is the ultimate reality itself, just taking shape. Like, it's like a dancer that plays with the rhythms of the universe and simultaneously embodying both the movement and the stillness from which it all comes, right? So Maya, it's like this mental projection of Brahma. So this entire cosmos, and I'll get to why this aids and helps with things like anxiety, depression, stress, PTSD, CPTSD, other kinds of ailments and maladies and things that we experience in our life, right? So this cosmos is a mental projection of that infinite, of that Brahma. It's both simultaneously a projection and a reality. It's a projection, but not in the conventional way we think of a projection from the mind. It's the very fabric of the universe. It's this divine play, which we call Leela, through which Brahma manifests as this multiplicity, as all of these perceived individual forms, right? The world of form, laws, time, nature, right? So Maya is a force. It's like a principle, a mechanism within the cosmos that it reveals itself to us through the mind. And our minds, in their limited scope, perceive the world through the lens of duality. We experience the world as subject and object, but these are only concepts which are constructed by the mind, right? It has a specific function to interpret this cosmos, this world, our situations, ourselves, our lives, individual forms. All of these, interpret them in specific ways due to the human body and mind, right? That's how we function. So the mind itself, though, is also a creation of Maya. It's part of the cosmic illusion that separates the perceiver from the perceived. And this dualistic perception is this hallmark of Maya. It's the illusion of separateness, the belief in independent existence of things. So, but this separateness in itself is an illusion, because at the deepest level, everything is Brahman, right? Everything is Brahman. Everything is existence. Everything is reality. Everything is the infinite. Even the finite is a form of the infinite, right? It has to be. The finite can't expand like this cosmos, being finite, vast, incredibly vast, enormous, like unbelievably so to our perspective, right? To our understanding. It's enormous. Still has edges. It's finite. It's not expanding into something else finite. Expanding into something that's infinite. So Maya, as this principle of duality, it creates this illusion of the finite. Yet the finite itself has to rest in the infinite, right? The finite world, the cosmos, the stars, the planets, all forms. It cannot exist outside the infinite, because they are the infinite's expression itself. So this leads to the next question. What is the infinite? So the infinite is something that we've called Brahman. It's this boundless, immeasurable, undefinable reality that underlies all things, right? So when I say it's undefinable, these are words that are pointers to something, right? We intuit it. We can't give it a description. We can't give something that's undefinable a description other than saying, our words and descriptions like boundless, immeasurable, undefinable. So it's beyond the reach of the mind, and it's beyond thought and beyond imagination. So it's not an object to be grasped. It's the subject itself that is experiencing all things, right? So this Brahma itself is the subject itself, which is experience all things. And once we move beyond that conditioned state of the mind, beyond the reflexive conditioning, right, in the body and the mind, we step into that vast unknown, and that unknown is our deeper nature, right? We are not limited to the mental constructs which are imposed and self-imposed upon us. We are beyond that. Those impositions, though, that sense of conditioning rests within the unknown, right? That's the self. So let's consider this deeper paradox here with this, that Maya is both real and unreal simultaneously. So in one sense, it's real, right? Because we experience it in every day. We see forms, we interact with them, and we live within the world of perceived duality. But in another sense, it's unreal, because this dualistic reality is based on ignorance, right? Ignorance of the true nature of this universe, which is Brahman, which is existence itself. Existence without a concept attached to it. Just existence, pure existence, right? So Maya is the power that enables the world to appear, but is not the final reality. So in this sense, what we're doing here is we're expanding our sense of self. We're getting out of these constricted states. And these constricted states are, like I mentioned, anxiety, stress, depression, PTSD, CPTSD, all these afflictions which we undergo via the mind. So Maya, it's this vast veil, Maya, that hides the absolute truth. Like curtains hide the light, right? It's like that. But just as the curtains cannot exist without the light, Maya can't exist without Brahman. Maya is Brahman in disguise, the creative force that allows the illusion to unfold, right? But this means through which the ultimate reality expresses itself, right? So the illusion unfolds through the ultimate reality itself. So when we understand that we are Brahman, when we see that this entire cosmos is a vibrational frequency of Brahman, and by that I mean everything in this cosmos exists within a vibratory state. Why? Right? So it can give form. So it can give perceived form. And depending on the vibratory state of each object, we see it and experience it as a specific form due to its vibrational frequency, right? Color, light is a vibration. We know everything is in constant motion, in vibration. So we come to the realization that nothing finite actually exists. Like, the finite world is an illusion. It's this concept of the mind of this cosmic creator. And all of these forms are simply slowed down vibratory states of this infinite expression itself. This entire cosmos, right? So the recognition that this cosmos rests within the infinite brings us closer to understanding that we are that infinite expression itself. So once again, what we're attempting to do here is expand our sense of self in a practical, personal, and subjective manner. So this is something that we sit with ourselves and we look at deeply and understand with great discernment. We have to develop discernment here, right? We don't want to just shift our focus and say that I'm the infinite. That's wonderful, but why, right? We have to either develop this through our intellect or through our heart, jnana or bhakti, or karma, right? Our action, preferably all three, right? Through this jnana, which is knowledge, and then through viveka, which is discernment, and through this jnana, through bhakti, which is a devotional stance, and then we develop it through karma, which is our action. So we align all of these things together, and when we shift our focus from the infinite from the finite to the infinite, we transcend this illusion of separation, and we begin to realize our deeper nature as the infinite itself. So the very nature of Maya here, with all its apparent separations, is part of this divine play where everything is Brahman in disguise. So this Maya is this kind of mental projection, but a projection that is itself divine. It is Brahma. It's Brahma projecting itself as Maya. It's this creative force, right? And this, the means of it, by which the infinite becomes the finite, and the formless becomes the form. And when we recognize this truth, we see that Maya itself is not something separate from us, but something that we are a part of. And the play of illusion and reality is the cosmic dance of Brahman. And we are both the dancers and the dance. When we get to this space and when we start to begin to understand this, we see that we're expanding ourselves, and we don't live within that constricted state. And those constricted states which we find to be difficult to deal with through our day-to-day life. They will still come and go and ebb and flow because that's life, and our bodies and mind have been conditioned to react and act in specific ways. And it may take a little bit of time for the body to catch up to the mind's realization of that expansion, but it will. Just stick to it, and everything will work out fine. At some point, we have to, through this kind of process, understand that state of surrender, what it is, how it can assist us, and how it can assist everybody and everything around us.